Hey, Marcus Philly here with Functional Bodybuilding. I want to talk about the front squat, specifically front rack mobility. This is one of the biggest pain points for new trainees when they start to learn the front squat. The front squat requires a combination of flexibility, strength in the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, and the upper body, as well as the lower body. But it's the upper body that really gets people hung up. They can't get into a comfortable position. When they do front squats, their wrists start to hurt, their elbows start to hurt. They have to stop at a particular point. They cap out at how much weight that they can lift, not because of their lower body, but because of their upper body. Now, what's the secret to developing a better front rack? Time and dedication to the lift and to your overall strength and mobility. This is not something that's going to fix itself overnight. You have to be focused on it repeatedly. And if you want to accelerate your progress in terms of mobility, you should be focused on doing the Persist Recover sessions that we have inside of our program that were programmed by Adam Fetter, Doctor of Physical Therapy with Functional Bodybuilding. But if you want to keep to your training and you don't want to be held up too much by front rack mobility limitations, I'm going to give you 3 ways to approach it that will keep you in the game and allow you to, over time, develop better postures and better positions. Now, one of the biggest issues that we see is can't get into a front rack position because of wrist and elbow flexibility issues. Now, here's one tool that you can use to get out of that. Take some lifting straps, put them around the bar, and now I'm gonna hold on to the strap, and I'm gonna take a very similar position to a front rack. I'm going to come out, and this is going to be where I'm going to brace from, and from here I am going to squat. I would like to caution you against going extremely heavy on this, because if you do end up having to fail, it's hard to get out of the way if you're holding on too tightly to the straps themselves. But this can help really simulate a great front rack position where your elbows are up and your hands are independently supporting the bar. That is one of the hallmarks of a front squat, is that when you squat, each arm controls the bar independently of one another. There's a second option, which is arms crossed. Now, this is something that maybe you've seen before, and it's a perfectly good option for front squatting. You would put the hands across in this position, and again, you're trying to get the bar to rest on the shoulders. The one disadvantage of this is it doesn't simulate those hands independently controlling the bar. It simulates them kind of working together in this cross position, which will allow you to front squat and get the value of the bar loaded on the front of your body, but it likely will not progress you towards a better front rack position over time. The better option for that would be this. And I also like this strap option, particularly if you have like a wrist injury. Let's say your wrist is a little wonky. This is a way for you to kind of simulate what you already know how to do, but not put a tremendous amount of strain on the wrist. Okay, my last tip for you is that oftentimes front rack mobility issues are not a shoulder or a wrist or an elbow issue at all. They're actually a lower body issue. Now, when I squat in a front squat, if I am pitched way forward, that's going to put a lot more strain on my wrists and my elbows, because now all the weight is pressing down on my hands as opposed to pressing down on my shoulders. What sends somebody into this position versus this position? Hip flexor tightness and ankle stiffness. So if you have hip flexor tightness and ankle stiffness, and that is what is limiting your front squat, then possibly a workaround is a heels elevated front squat. Now, this helps me overcome some of my ankle restrictions. I can stay more vertical, and I can front squat, and I have no issues with my elbows or my front rack position. But that same athlete takes those away, goes to front squat, and they look like this, and their wrists are killing them, and their fingertips are about to break off. And it's frustrating. and I understand. So, putting a slight heel lift in the form of 2 little plates or a wedge, that is another workaround for front rack or front squat mobility issues that you're having. So those 3 tips, take them to the bank, use them in your front squat training, and over time, if you do want to develop a proper front rack position, you have to stay dedicated and you have to be patient and you have to put in some time with some mobility, but it will come. I hope that helped. See you next time.